What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name, as always, is Mike, and I represent Mike's Retro Trading Cards. And I'm joined by two men that I usually have a witty, quirky little thing to say about. But this week, we have way too much to talk about on the podcast, so we're going to skip all of that and all of the extra time that I would have wasted telling you this story about these two men. They are Joe Day and EP Eric Pahalik. How you doing, guys?
I feel like that didn't take any less time.
In retrospect, I think you might have been right. That might have taken more time to actually come up with something.
Explaining that you're not going to tell a story is not saving time. I'll leave it at that. And I'm going to quickly crack open a beer because we've been going at this since about 2 hours ago. We started talking.
I need one.
Mike's got a beer. Oh,
right.
EP, you got one?
Yep.
Look at that. All right, boys. Now, pull back the curtain. It's almost noon, so this doesn't feel as wrong.
We have been at it all morning already.
We have
but nobody watching this will know that. Yeah. So how's it going, guys?
Doing good, man. I was telling you boys before we started, I've been selling some of my McFarlanes. I had like 300 or so opened, unopened, graded McFarlane NFL toys, action figures. I've been listing those on eBay so I can fund the other part of the hobby. And yeah, it's been going really good though. But I'll tell you what, packing toys, very different process than packing cards. I'm looking for any Amazon box I can find to jam those suckers in there. But yeah, but I had to buy bubble wrap. The first time I've had to buy supplies, it's really sad, but yeah, there we go. That's what I
know. I mean, going from all the guitar parts that I sold to cards and back to guitar parts a little bit and back to cards. Yeah. Like you get into a groove for the one thing and then something's a little different.
It's a different muscle.
Whoa,
it's a different muscle you're using.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know. EP? Well, I mean, same thing's happening for me because of this Topps project. I had the right size boxes for the sets, but cards didn't fit in them. I thought the 330 count set, 330 count box, perfect. Nope, need 400 count boxes. I finally got them yesterday, and I was waiting because I wanted to make sure I knew what the packing, how much it was going to cost to ship before I listed any of these sets. Yeah. So the same thing, and now I'm like trying to figure out. I got this box, and I put the box inside, put the bubble wrap at the bottom, and then just wrapped everything up. And it's just using up a lot of the extra boxes and supplies that I have here. So I've been holding on to for a while. So
I do remember from when I had the shop that we would every now and then get 330 count boxes that were actually only 300 count boxes. Yeah. Like
that has to be what it is.
Because
it's not close.
It fit the 300 perfectly, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so,
absolutely perfect.
We need to do a video of our top 3 supplies. Card supplies at some point. Talk about snap downs. Remember those? Talk about 330 count boxes.
Talk about blowing up a channel right there. That video will do that for sure. Boom. Wake up one day, we're gonna have 20,000 subscribers, 40,000 views.
You hear about four screw downs, baby.
Although it could be a good episode with some of that stuff. I just bought a card. It was that Jerry Rice card I posted on Twitter, the EX card. It was in a gigantic screw down.
Oh no.
I was like, I kind of hate like buying that from the local card shop because like I feel like, well, like he might think it's worth more than what it actually is,
right?
Because it's in like it wasn't a regular screw down too. It was like the kind that had like an inch on each side. Like,
I had my Tiger Woods rookies in those.
Was it recessed at all?
Recessed,
oh man, because those cards are really thick, right? They're like
it wasn't. It wasn't. I'm not getting it graded anyway, but yeah. Things were different back in the 90s. If only we knew that. That should be the answer to what advice would you give yourself when you start collecting?
Don't use
non-recessed screw downs.
If only we knew could be a segment.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should do that. Yeah. All right. Well, we have a lot to get to this week, but I want to start things off with a couple big announcements. Don't forget this week on Thursday, it's the first episode of the Husker Habs Wrestling Card Podcast. So if you're watching this and you like wrestling cards, or you just like this beautiful face and this soothing voice, you can give it a watch. That'll be dropping on Thursday. I almost said that without laughing. And another huge announcement.
Huge.
We have another episode of 8 Questions dropping this Friday. And wow, we were like teenage girls going to a Backstreet Boys concert today. You know, we have this week's guest will be the baseball card collector, investor, dealer in that order. Chris Sewell. So wow, that's a fantastic episode. He is just so much fun.
And we're going to be pulling clips from just us talking with him before and after we recorded the 8 questions. We're going to do some clips of that, and it's going to be a lot of fun. He was a great guy to talk to, just right in our wheelhouse. You know, like the things we're talking about, that's what he's talking about on a much larger scale. But yeah.
If you're watching this podcast and haven't heard of him, I'm guessing there's nobody. But, you know, he fits right in with the kind of stuff we love, and like just such a genuine guy. And like you can like his love of all this comes through in everything he says. So I'm so
and his knowledge too.
He's so smart.
So he was super fascinated with the card shop, Mike's Upper Deck. You know, we were talking about that for a bit. He was very interested in the card boom of the 90s, you know, from a dealer's perspective or a seller's perspective at that point. We had a lot of fun talking with him.
We did. Hopefully we can get him on the podcast one of these days.
One of the live streams.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
we're a
23-hour
live stream. This can happen. Okay. Well, because we don't have, we're probably going to have like a 4-hour podcast today, so we apologize in advance, but maybe not quite that long. But this week, I don't know if you guys heard, Tops and Fanatics had an industry conference out in Arizona at the Diamondback Stadium. I forget what it's called out there. People got to like sit in the stands. I guess like some of the presenters were standing on top of the dugout. Like, again, this is pretty cool. Like, we're talking about marketing and people thinking that, oh, that means advertising. Advertising is only part of marketing. Like, doing unique things and different things is marketing. And one of the first things I want to mention before we get into the actual stuff announced at the conference was, in the last 2 weeks, they've hired, or last couple weeks, I'm not sure how many, they've hired some big new hires for the company. They hired Ken Turner for the chief marketing officer, and he was a guy who was in the same position for Red Bull, like did the Red Bull gives you wings. Like Red Bull was everywhere. Red Bull was in how many like extreme sporting events and stuff were sponsored by that.
The X Games, right?
So fantastic. Like that guy, like they hired somebody who knows what he's doing and thinks outside the box, I think, a little bit. And we're going to see a lot of that, I would think, in the hobby. And also, I was fascinated by this hire. I hadn't heard anything about this anywhere yet. They hired Omar Wilkes. Do you remember EP, the basketball player Jamal Wilkes?
The name does ring a bell, but
it's his son. They hired him as the head of athlete relations. You know, we've talked a lot on this podcast about how can we get game used memorabilia, like why don't they just talk to the league and the players? Like, they have a person in position now to be that liaison between the players, the leagues, the company. Like, again, a lot of people are crapping on Fanatics. I think they're kind of Panini fanboys, if you want to say, but like, why don't we give this company a chance? Like, things that we're going to talk about here and these hires alone are completely different than anything anybody's seen in this hobby. Like anybody that stands out there saying that, oh, well, people are all excited about Fanatics and they're just gonna ruin this and like, how do you know?
Right. Give it time. Give it time.
It's clear that they're going to try. This is a big league company running our hobby in a professional big league way. I applaud it. I think it's long overdue. Like, maybe get rid of some of the riffraff. Let's do things a little more professionally. Let's try to build this hobby.
There are a lot of people crapping on Topps 2023 Series 1 Topps. I see on Twitter, a lot of people saying, "Oh, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that?" And I really just don't understand. I think maybe they're probably fishing for views, just because I feel like everything that they've done so far with 2023 Topps is great. And I'm looking for, and the MVP buyback last year, and then this conference, I really think I'm more excited than I was when I first heard that Fanatics was buying Topps for sure.
And more to the point about the hires, Mike. I mean, Red Bull, sure. I've done a couple of Red Bull and vodkas in my day for sure. Maybe one or two, two or three.
Fantastic.
We
just
used to
had
drink
some of those at the
we?
National too.
Yeah,
EP and I had them.
Yep,
that's right.
Atlantic City.
But again,
He's
you're
so
talking
good.
about a big marketing guy who was part of the campaign, Red Bull gives you wings, which I still love those commercials. They crack me up every time. And then beyond that, though, more importantly, I think, is this hire for athlete relations.
Yeah.
It seems like I didn't know that. You told us that. And I'm like, well, no shit. That makes so much sense.
Right.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
And I don't know this guy's background beyond who his dad was. So he probably has some sort of firm that does client relations, or maybe
he's actually like a very well-known agent. Like, he works for like the agency that represents LeBron James and some other mega stars. So like, this guy,
right? So that's in his
connections.
wheelhouse,
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And because when you said that, I'm like, oh, wouldn't it have made sense to hire like a Drew Rosenhaus type? Well, it sounds like they did. Sounds like they did hire a Drew Rosenhaus type, and someone who can go to the athletes and say, hey, this is your contract. You got to, and work out the jersey thing, work out the auto thing. I mean, those are the two top priorities, in my opinion, that this guy needs to sit down and talk to the athletes about, some more than others, and maybe give a lesson on cursive. I don't know.
It's so obvious. It's like, why has nobody done this before? Like, it's one of those things. Like, how is this? What? Why is it?
Because it goes back to what we've said a million times, going back to episode number 1 of this podcast. These companies involved in this hobby have done nothing but just try to take advantage of the money they could make in it. They haven't tried to market it. They haven't tried to grow it. I don't want anybody to say because Panini ran a WWF Prism commercial during Monday Night Raw that they're marketing the hobby. No, they ran an ad. Like, for real.
The Julio Rodriguez ad, though.
Yeah,
that is marketing. Like that. That's actually that.
It is, and stuff they're going to build on. And here, go back to episode 1. Michael Rubin said, "We're going to market the hobby. We're going to market the hobby." Here, 2023 is where we're going to finally see Fanatics imprint on this hobby. The stuff they had released for Topps, like, all that was planned out before they really had the company. Now we're going to start seeing more of their vision. And you have a great marketing guy that you have, like, ahead of marketing. You have another guy, I didn't even mention this, but they hired a guy who will be in the plants and stuff to make sure that they aren't sending out loaded cases and stuff. He's a guy who worked, I believe, with the FBI fraud detection team or something. With
this is what we've been talking about and asking for months.
And now you have a guy who's a liaison for the players, like Michael Rubin. In the first episode of the podcast we talked about almost a year ago, was saying, we want to make this a joint venture with the players. We want them to understand. And now everything they're doing is reinforcing what his vision was. I don't care who you are. Panini doesn't have this kind of vision. Topps before this never had this kind of vision. None of the card companies that came before them had that kind of vision. They haven't put the effort and the money into trying to make our little hobby a bigger, more mainstream thing.
EP's having an earthquake in Danville. Well, you know what? And people got their feathers in a little huff. That's not an expression. I just made it up, but
it's great.
They got their feathers in a huff.
How do you have a feather?
But people were really, really upset that like the stuff that happened with the marketing side of it, like they were upset that Ruben came out and said this hobby is popular by accident. It really is. Like, it's accident, nostalgia, and just like bloodline, I guess. Maybe like your dad taught you to collect, you're going to teach your son to collect. Like, it's not because people have been marketed to. It's because it's a tradition. It's nostalgia. It has happened by accident. It's stayed afloat and it's gotten popular by accident. COVID, the biggest accident in the world for the boom for the hobby. I mean, if that doesn't happen, what are we talking about right now? You know, like, so we're chatting about fantasy football and the combine, you know, like us, the three of us specifically. So like, I don't know, like people who are getting their feathers in a huff need to calm down and realize that, yes, this has happened by accident.
The thing is, that's like, that's from the very beginning, right? Like, didn't they put the 2052 Topps cards in the packs to sell the gum? Like the reason they were trying to sell the gum, they're just like a throw-in, and then now,
I mean, every high point in this hobby has been by accident. Like none of the high points have ever been created by anything the card companies did. It was other interest in a sport that got people interested in this. Nothing the card companies did.
Well, I mean,
except for sending out all those 89 Griffies. I mean, maybe that.
You could argue that they were the ones that dumped all the 52s in the river, so that's why that's so scarce. So that was, but they didn't do it on purpose. Like, that wasn't like,
I thought it was the ocean. Was it the ocean?
I thought it was the Hudson River.
That might have been. I have no
idea. It ends up in the ocean. It ends up in the ocean.
Yeah.
No wonder I didn't find them. I was looking in the wrong spot.
But yeah, I mean, he's making a concerted effort. Like, and the people complaining, and we did it ourselves a little bit, saying it's a bad look for Fanatics. Some of the stuff that happened last year, right? There were some issues that had to happen, and we said it's a bad look for Fanatics because just in the public view, it is. But it was Topps before it was Fanatics. You made that point here a little bit ago, Mike. It's kind of like people crapping on the DC movies coming out and crapping on James Gunn. No, these movies were already set. Shazam was already out there. James Gunn had nothing to do with that. So, you know, people need to realize that when Fanatics takes over, it's going to be a whole different ball game. And if they screw up, they're going to screw up, and we'll keep them on their toes.
And they're addressing the issues that people have. Like we've said all along, even with grading companies, like you're grading millions of cards, which we'll get to later in this podcast, but you're going to make mistakes. So the thing is, how do you handle it? We have people claiming there are loaded cases going. So Fanatics hires somebody to be in charge to make sure that's not happening. They have people complaining about all the redemption cards. They made it pretty clear at this conference that they're gonna try to have very little redemption cards. They know people don't like redemption cards, so they're going to change it. And they hire a guy that's in charge of athlete relations. I think those two things go hand in hand. So, like, you know, you just want to hate if you're hating on this. If you can't look at it and go, this company is trying to do something. I may not like where it goes, but they're trying to make it more legitimate, in my opinion. Because let's be real, our hobby is not a legitimate hobby. Like you don't have a lot of legitimate money being pumped into it as investments, whatnot. Like a lot of people still look down on you if you collect pieces of cardboard with players' pictures on them.
Right. Yeah, so, absolutely.
Like, let's give them a chance. They're already trying things. They've made hires to put people in place to make things better. So let's see where it goes. Let's not crap on it before it gets there.
Well, and that's the. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, one thing. I hope that the people that watch our channel, like the people that know us and like our stuff, like they're probably, hopefully, they are thinking, well, they're trying. That's the bottom line. Like, be happy that they're trying. They're trying something, and let's see where it goes.
I don't know if the end thing is going to be
Yes.
something I love, but we're dinosaurs in this. Like if you want to grow this hobby and look 20 years down the line, like I'm sadly probably not the person you're really worried about. So like I realize that though, and things need to
Shit got
change.
morbid.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm going to be around forever. I'm just saying I might not be doing cards when I'm
Oh, okay. All
that
right.
old in 20 years. Maybe I will. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Like maybe I will enjoy all this, but they're doing something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And I wasn't around when Panini took over the major licenses. I really don't. I know our friend Ziggy No likes to point to Panini as saving the basketball card industry, and that could be true. I have no idea.
well, a lot of that, no offense to Ziggy, they kind of got lucky too. Again, I'm not sure how much like Panini didn't make Steph Curry and LeBron and Kevin Durant and all these players who
Right.
have come in. Basketball got super popular. That
Globally.
league
And the cards followed.
and it is one of the biggest sports in the world.
We were talking to
So,
Chris Soule.
Yeah.
you know,
We were talking
again,
to Chris Soule this week.
was it because of Panini? No, it was because basketball got hot. Panini got lucky that they said, sure, we'll take it when nobody else wanted it. The basketball card market isn't where it is because of Panini. It's
Right.
because basketball got hot,
And
which
to-
is the
to
whole
your-
point of what we're saying here. They luck into all this stuff. All the card companies always have.
Right. To your point about it, basketball being huge everywhere. We were talking to Chris Soule this past week, and he's in the Netherlands, and he said basketball, soccer, everything else. Right. But to my point about Panini and taking over the licenses, we've seen what they can do. It's not great, right? So we've
They've
seen
had a
that.
chance. Yeah.
And I'm sure people gave them that chance when they took over the licenses. Let's give that same chance to Fanatics. And again, I didn't see what they were doing back in 2012 or whatever it was. But I can, with my own eyes, I can see what Fanatics is at least trying to do. Let's give them a couple of years to implement it. Let's see how they do. If they screw up, we'll call them on it. I'm sure collectors and investors will call them on it as well. But you got to give them that chance. You got to at least see what they're doing and say, okay, at least they're on the right track. Regardless of how it pans out, they're going the right track.
Okay, well, one of the tracks they're on are eliminating some products. They're getting rid of Opening Day, Gold Label, Clearly Authentic, Fire First Edition, Archive Snapshot, and Bowman Chrome X. Now, Opening Day is going to be replaced with Big League Baseball. Is that what it's called, EP? You're a big fan of that, right?
Back in 2021, they had both Big League and first edition, but they have Topps First Edition and Bowman First Edition. They didn't specify if one or the other's going, so I'm guessing both of them will go. But yeah, I mean, Big League is the kind of like I'm thinking that they're consolidating some of their resources to make Big League into the thing that people might want.
From what I've seen, it's geared toward kids. So it's like to replace Opening Day as their bottom line product. So, but I mean, Gold Label, Gallery. I think I forgot Gallery in here too. They're dropping Gallery.
I wrote down Gold Label. I'm really bummed out about that because
I did like
Gallery.
Gold Label I've loved Gold Label too, but I mean, I'm not a huge follower of the current baseball card market, so they probably just don't sell that well. So
no, there are just too many products. Like, and Bowman Chrome X was one that they got rid of, and like they have like Bowman Chrome, they have Bowman, then they have Bowman Chrome, they have Bowman Sapphire, Bowman Chrome Sapphire, Bowman X,
all
and
these
just
different versions of the same product. They do it with Chrome too. They have all the ones
Sonic
same picture with just a different
the logo on the other side.
Background.
Or they move the logo to the other side. Like, so there's just way too many like copycat kind of products being made by the same company. That's as much as I hate to see Gold Label.
I'm sorry. This is just for baseball. Like they haven't specifically had a lineup for football yet, or are we?
No, they haven't talked about that.
Okay.
I did see on a list that they have like some tops at like Allen and Ginter's footballers or something like that, but there's no information on that yet. So it's like maybe an early football product with like retired players, I'm guessing. But they have
Okay. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, no big losses there, right?
Yeah, the only one that bums me out, like I said, is Gold Label, but that's because I've been going through my 99 stuff and going through Gold
Yeah.
Label and be like, holy shit, this
And
stuff is
again,
really
like
good.
Gold Label's one of those sets that from year to year doesn't look a whole lot different.
Right.
You know, it's hard to make it. Like Gallery, I feel kind of the same way too. Like I loved Fleer Avant back in the day, but like they're kind of cool. Like Fleer Avant was cool because they only made the football that one year. So if it went on year after year, it would really kind of lose its uniqueness anyway. So what all can you do with that type of product?
And I think Gallery and Gold Label both would make for cool inserts in products as well, or like subsets or whatever. So I mean, that's
like a Chronicles type of thing from the Topps perspective. I don't
or maybe
know
a once every so many years product too. But yeah, like the thing is, like Gold Label pretty much looks the same every year, like you said, Mike. And so
always has.
Yeah.
Not much as I love it now. I like it, but you're doing the same thing over and over. They did announce, you mentioned about the MVP buyback. They did announce that will continue too in Topps Chrome. So that's going to be really cool this year because you're going to be seeing the prices of guys' cards shoot up in anticipation that they may win. Like, that will be really cool. Like last year, they announced it late, so you know, and we knew who it was, and you knew what you're getting. Now this year, people are going to be speculating on, okay, is his card going to be worth 20? Like,
you know what kind of is? It's kind of gambling, right? I mean, not really, but I'm just saying, you're like,
I mean, it gives a unique way to collect
prop bets.
There's a long. I don't know if I want to go the gambling route with it because I don't really feel like it's gambling, but people will speculate on who they think that'll be, and I think that'll be fun for the hobby. Like, again, you're tying in something from real sports into the hobby too, so I think that'll be fun.
As fun as it was this past year to try to hit these cards, but you know, now to think about trying to do it like during the season and like trying to get your guys like, this is my guys. He's gonna win it. And I'm gonna get.
They're gonna be guys selling for like $10 at the All-Star game that like aren't gonna win it, but like people are gonna think at a certain point, oh, he's gonna win the MVP. I'll give you $8 for that card. Like that'll be fantastic.
And what I meant by gambling too is it's like long-term prop bets, right? It's like putting $10 on Patrick Mahomes to win the MVP in, July, right? So as these cards are coming out, you're keeping them aside, or maybe you're buying them for, like you said, Mike, $8, thinking it could be a $20 card. It'll be really interesting to see how you two handle your stack sales at that point. Because I think, Mike, you sold an Aaron Judge for $1.
I did, yes. I did.
Which was a $20 card. Someone won a $20 card from Mike's Retro Trading Cards.
I forgot to pull that out and take a picture of it, too, before I sent it. But I may not be selling any Topps Chrome if I open any of my sales. It's going to stay in the box until later. I'm sure people probably have heard about this product because I've seen videos and talk about it everywhere. Frozen Fractors.
This is where you lost me. I thought you were just jagging with me. I really thought you were just screwing with us when you sent that.
Number 0 out of 0, -5 out of 0, -10 out of 0. I mean, they've already accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. And when you talk about marketing, this is marketing, and all these people complaining about it don't even know it. You're talking about this product. The only reason they took the parallel and changed it from 1 of 1 to 0 of 0 is to give themselves something a little unique and get people talking. And boy, are they talking about it. But like people that are complaining about it, it's like, at my opinion, what's the difference if you call it a 1 of 1 or a 0 of 0? Like, it's a parallel.
By the way,
it's a different type of parallel. They're just numbering it differently. Kind of an interesting way. I want to see what the card looks like because I'm assuming that they'll probably be pretty cool. I don't know. Get off your high horse with this.
The people complaining about it will complain about it until they pull one.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh my God, look at this awesome card that I can sell. Like how it'd be like if we pulled a downtown or a kaboom. And be like, oh, look how awesome this downtown is. Isn't this awesome, guys? You should buy it. You know?
And the bottom line is they already have the gold and the the green and the orange and the camo and the snake
Rhino
skin and
skin,
rhino
Mhm.
skin, and
unicorn
they have,
skin.
so these ones just go backwards instead of forwards. It's probably gonna be the same number of parallels or whatever. Why
Yeah.
you complain about
Right.
something a little bit different? Like, at least it's gonna be a little bit different.
And you haven't even seen it yet. Again, here we go with the hobby, complaining about how awful something is before they even know what it looks like or
Right.
how it works.
I mean, I
You-
thought it was stupid, but more from the is Mike screwing with us right now? I really,
I thought it was
honest
a
to
joke too. I thought it was a
God,
joke
honest
too.
to God, I thought you were just screwing with us.
But again, people are talking about it. That's what it's for. Okay, if they're going to announce 1 of 1 and a 1 out of 5 or number 1 out of 10, nobody cares.
Right.
You just take it the other direction. All of a sudden, good or bad, people are talking about it, and people know about it now better before the things even come out, better than probably any parallel that's been released in how long?
Yeah. And the
Okay.
thing is the vocal minority is complaining about it, but there are going to be people when that comes out that is all they're going to go after. They're going to be like, I want all the zeros. I want all the negative 5s. I want all the negative
It's
10s.
different. Yeah.
Yes.
Something different. You know, you want to talk, it's not really innovation, but it's a little bit of innovation. Like simple. I want to see what the card looks like though, because you know, it might be really cool looking. You might like it better than your 1 out of 5. Maybe you want the -5 out of 0 instead. I don't know, but
Again, they're
I don't
trying.
know. That one's
Trying
pretty
something
cool.
different. Yeah.
And they're also going to be releasing retrofractors, which the premise behind this is players who never had a first Bowman card, they're going to make first Bowman cards of these players going back like some of the all-time greats of the game, and they're going to be short printed in some of the products. I like this kind of stuff.
Yep.
I've always been a sucker. So you're going to take something like Bowman, which has been a tradition for how long, a first Bowman card, and give it to guys that didn't have it. Like there's a lot of nostalgia in that.
I really hope that I'm guessing that they're going to use the designs from the years when these guys should have had their first Bowman. So I think that because you know I love the archive type of product where you see past, they use the past designs. So to see an insert like that and you pull it and it's got, you know, somebody who didn't.
Well, it
have
might be a
Bowman
little
first.
hard to do it for Babe Ruth though.
Well,
They're gonna have to have something for some. Maybe
Well,
I
he
don't
had-
know what they'll do for them, but
didn't he have like 40?
He had a
leaves
Bowman.
in, like,
Did he have a Bowman?
He might have had a Bowman, but yeah, I mean, like there were Bowmans back then. I don't remember what the years were, but I mean, like you just go with the earliest Bowman for those guys, I guess.
48, the earliest Bowman. I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think
So.
then.
From a
not sure.
football perspective, I want a Topps Chrome Tom Brady rookie card. I want to see what if they do this with football, I would love to see that 2000 set redesigned. I'd love to see this in football. I don't think this just has to be a baseball thing. I think this could be every sport. Could you imagine how cool a Topps Chrome Tom Brady? And I know you're saying first Bowman, Mike, but I'm thinking there are other sets they could do this with. There's a lot.
Could potentially, yeah.
There's definitely a lot of IP out there to do stuff like this.
I think with the Topps Chrome though, like there are so many of the guys had Topps Chrome cards that I think you have less than you do with the Bowman, maybe. So
I mean,
but still make one.
I think if they do it, they might do it with the Bowman just to keep like the product line similar.
I don't know if it's on your list, Mike, but there is a chase card for Joe in the upcoming year.
Come on, EP.
Come on, EP. Don't put the cart ahead of the horse. That's Joe's job. Which actually, I thought he was doing here, but
I thought so too. I was like, well, go.
Hey, I know what I'm doing.
This whole thing is kind of grinding to a halt with this conversation we had about this. One of the other little things I saw, they're doing a partnership with Little League Baseball. I guess they're going to be giving away packs to kids that sign up for Little League Baseball, and they're going to have other prizes for like them hitting other incentives, like that do things during the season. I think that's pretty cool. Like kind of get kids in a young age involved in this. And plus, you know, supporting Little League Baseball is pretty cool. Cause like my kids played that. I played it, you know, it's not quite.
Did Mike's Upper Deck have a team?
I had a teener team for a while. Yeah. So, but like, I mean, that's something that's kind of losing popularity, and maybe, you know, they could help build that up a little bit.
I know when I worked for a newspaper, and I was a sports writer for a long time. When I first started working for the paper, we would cover Little League because there were like 20 teams in Danville. Like, there was a huge number of teams. Like, every business in town wanted to be one of the sponsors for one of the teams, and they would go through and they play a championship game, and then all the players would go up and go into the All-Star game. But this was, that was for the All-Star team, and so it was a huge deal. And I believe I was told that there are 6 teams this year. Maybe not even 6 in Danville. And that's wild to think about because of how just absolutely insane everything was when I first started covering it.
Another something else I thought that was really cool, I haven't really seen talked about much. They said that they're going to work closely with hobby shops, including like video conferencing about products and stuff. So if you're coming out with the 2024 Topps baseball, they'll have a video conference about that dealers and hobby dealers can log into and watch and learn more about the product. And they're supposed to be giving dealers more information about upcoming products, so they have that ahead of time so they can know about the product and help their customers know a little more about the product. I think, again, video conferencing, this is something that Topps could have done before Fanatics, something Panini could do. Again, something simple that any other business in the world does with their distributors, people selling their product. They give this stuff out, and people are acting like, holy cow, this is normal. It just shows you how abnormal the business behind this hobby has been. And we've been saying it all along that none of these companies, Topps, all the ones that went out of business, Upper Deck, none of them get any credit for ever running their business like a typical business.
Right. Because again, everything was kind of handed to them. There's going to be a segment of the population that just wants to buy cards. They don't need to be told. They just do it. But that doesn't expand it. that just keeps it you and your kid.
How much money can we get from these people that already buy our product?
This small amount of people, instead of going like this, they take the small amount of people and say, let's gouge them. Let's gouge this small group instead of expanding it to a larger group.
Again, it's another one of those things. Obvious check. Should have been doing this before. Check. They're actually trying now. Check. I mean,
how many people watching this right now at your work have you had a Zoom meeting,
literally
to learn
about
something
every day?
Yeah. So I don't know, this is some kind of brand new thing for the card industry, but I like it. And I think, people have been a little concerned about where the hobby shops are going to fall with Fanatics taking over. And I feel like this shows that they are going to look at them as partners. Again, they might be selling the product that they're selling too, but at the same time, those people can help you promote your product. Again, it's marketing too.
They're your ambassadors.
Yeah, you have the guy running the card shop telling a customer about a release you have coming up. That's worth more than anything you can throw out online. That's a person talking to another person about a product, and that guy going, oh, that sounds really cool. When did they come out? There, handled. That's what you
Can I pre-order a box from you or something like that?
Well, I did see there was, I don't know if it was on a podcast I listened to or on a YouTube video, but that there was somebody that said that there was a research done that only 10 to 15% of the people in the hobby are actually on social media. So all the there's 85, potentially 85% of the people, the hobbyists that only get their news from the hobby shop. So it makes sense to do that.
Yeah, there's a general thinking of people online and social media that you're the majority of any interest you have, and it's just not that way. You could be interested in cards, you could have Instagram, you might not follow any card accounts on your Instagram. You're sharing pictures of your family or the meal you had last night or your vacation, or making some dramatic post to get attention. Whatever you do, however you want to play it. But not all
that's
those people,
99% of it. That last one is 99% of it.
So I mean, it's a good point though.
Did you guys see, and I'm going to mispronounce his name because I'm so used to pronouncing it the way it used to be pronounced, but Hassan Minhaj had gotten off of Twitter. He was on The Daily Show and he guest hosted this week. And he actually put out some statistics about this. He was like, do you realize only X amount of people are actually on Twitter, and like a very small percentage of those actually make up the vast majority of the posts? We see all that stuff flooding us from the hobby because people are just constantly posting it. So we think, oh, this is the real world. No, people that go into a hobby shop aren't, they're not on social media, or if they are, like you said, Mike, they're sharing pictures of their kids. They really don't care about card content from us, right? Or their meal, a lot about their meal.
I know. I never understood taking a picture of your plate and
all right,
sharing
I've
it with
done
the
it.
world, but
I've done it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I share.
Wait. Can I give you a little hint? Nobody cares.
I know people that do, so you just bite your tongue.
They don't. They really don't. They're saying, "Oh yeah, Joe, that was great." They don't care. Anyway.
This is coming from someone who eats his steak, guys. This is someone coming from someone who eats his steaks well done. I mean,
I got a giant pretzel at a restaurant yesterday that came on this giant hook.
Oh yeah,
and was hanging.
Those are awesome. You
and
take a picture. I would have liked the shit out of that picture.
No, I'm not doing it. And all I could think of was, you know what? This hook is right at my eye level. What is the liability here? Like they're poking people's eye out just to hang this. Why don't they put it?
So that's why you need to take the picture just in case. That'd be great content if you just randomly poked your eye out with a pretzel run.
All right. Well, EP was trying to get this news out a little earlier than I wanted to present it, but Joe, next year you're gonna have a Tom Brady first Bowman baseball rookie card to collect.
I actually will. I'll tell you that. Probably just a base one, but I will absolutely, because I think it'd be a cool display with my Bowman Chrome. I mean, I suspect.
Let me expand on this a little for the viewers. Topps announced that they are going to make a Tom Brady first Bowman card. I guess it's actually 2023, right? Not next year, but this year.
I think it's
it's 2023. So I guess it would be this year now, but with 2022 products coming out, I don't know what year to call it, but they are making Tom Brady rookie baseball card, and apparently should have autographs in it and stuff too. Yeah. So, I mean,
I'm not going to buy him an autograph, but yeah, it is very cool because I don't even have a football Tom Brady autograph.
That's why you need a baseball.
Open a case.
You want to split a KCP? EP?
I don't know. I don't think you realize how much a case costs.
First off,
between three of us,
I don't care. Between the three of us,
we will back you. You do all the work. We'll split all the profit.
I love it.
Fair?
I'm in.
We can do it for the channel.
Let's have a vote. Let's have a vote of the channel.
Could have a live feed of you just ripping it. Yeah.
You'd love to rip it. Be honest.
I would love to rip it. I might get a box.
How much you think of cases? How much you think of cases?
$6,000.
$2,000 a piece.
$2,000 a piece.
$2,000 a piece. What?
You spent $1,000 by yourself on that.
I spent $940. Yeah.
Yeah, but
that profit.
You take that, you double the money from that, and you put it into your third.
I didn't double my money from that.
Absolutely.
Well, not with that attitude. But yeah,
work.
getting back to the point at hand. No, so I definitely. So he'll be in Bowman Chrome as well, right?
Well, I think usually the prospects
it's Bowman draft. I think
there's a draft. So, well, usually the prospects get a Chrome and a paper, so we might be able to chase both.
Well, I just went to Chrome because you know how I feel about Bowman paper Brady. It's way overvalued. That rookie is way overvalued.
Until you see these.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd probably chase a base one to put on display with my football one. I think that'd be a fun display.
And one other name they're going to have, apparently, Bronny James is going to have his first card in this year's Topps Chrome McDonald's All-American. And he's supposed to have autographs too. So I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to make a prediction here. I'm going to predict that's going to be a pretty hot product.
What product is that?
Bold.
What product is that?
Topps Chrome McDonald's All-American. Because he's playing in the All-American game this year, and they have him signed to do cards and autographs. So
it's sad you won't be able to.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it's sad you won't be able to get a dual auto. Because LeBron is exclusive to Upper Deck still, right?
I feel like they're making this product just for him, so I won't be surprised if there was a dual auto in it.
Well, I like to transition. Topps also, I'm saving this for last, announced that they are going to have a huge announcement for an upcoming product, like the biggest of a generation. Some of the rumors out there are that they're taking LeBron James away from Upper Deck. I have no idea what their big announcement is. I'm just reporting what I've seen other people say it could be. I don't know. You have this product, maybe. I don't know.
This is to hire that quarterback's offensive coordinator as your head coach to try and lure that quarterback to your team, right?
May I also say the guy you just hired to be your athlete relations guy works for the company that represents LeBron James.
That's awesome.
Check.
That's it.
That's it.
I mean, I don't know. These rumors only come from what I've seen other people say. I don't know what their reasoning is for it.
Man.
But
there it is.
When you look at Bronny having a card in the Topps Chrome, you look at them teasing a major announcement. You look at the hire of Omar Wilkes, which again, nobody's even talking about that part. Like that's
weird.
Pretty huge deal that I haven't.
Here? What was
happening? I don't know that we're breaking news, but I don't know why other bigger content creators aren't talking about that hire. It's a huge deal to me, but maybe they don't see it as such. But yeah, maybe. I mean, it would make sense. And how huge would that be? That'd be
generational.
Yeah, I mean that's massive.
Absolutely would be generational.
Wow, that
like he's been signing with exclusively Upper Deck since he was 17 years old, 18 years old. Like to have him move to a Topps product, I will say though, it makes perfect sense. I mean, I do love Upper Deck products, but you have to realize
they can't
Fanatics is where it's going. They can't compete with Fanatics.
If Fanatics
he's been very
loyal,
he's been more loyal to Upper Deck than he has any team he's played for. So it's kind of wild that
it's a little disappointing though that he's exclusive to them. So we haven't gotten any of his autographs and stuff out of product for so long because they haven't made, NBA basketball cards. So
that's true. That's true. They do. They do some of those
love that he's still with Upper Deck, but I think it would be fantastic if another company that could make cards. Now they can't make NBA cards for a while, but I don't know if you throw out a Topps Chrome set with the kid in it. I don't know. Maybe dual autographs. Joe, think you might be onto something.
That would be awesome.
We should pre-order a case now, the three of us.
EP, you in?
Depends how much it is.
It's probably going to be way more than
we'll get that case of Bowman. We'll get that case of Bowman.
Okay.
We'll get the case with a Bronny's in.
Okay.
I mean, we're in what, like $4,000 each? That's nothing.
Nothing.
EP, sell a couple of the cards that are collecting dust over there. But yeah, that'd be that would be absolutely no doubt when they said generational and we kind of poked fun at it, that would be a generational type thing.
I mean, it was something I was going to bring up, but honestly, I have no idea. So I thought it would be more fun to talk about what other people are saying it is. Yeah. And does make sense.
But the dots are there.
They are, absolutely. Yeah.
With them getting all the licenses too, you wonder if they are going to go after like somebody like Jordan too and like go after anybody with an exclusive deal. Like, and maybe you can make a deal with.
Well, at that point, if Upper Deck loses LeBron and Jordan, Upper Deck might be Fanatics. I mean,
I'm okay.
I'm okay with it too.
Me too.
Like,
SP,
bring NHL under the umbrella too, and all the Marvel stuff, and like,
that'd be great.
Yeah,
it would. Fleer Ultra returns.
Who knows?
Yeah, Fleer Ultra football. Sign me up. I can smell it from here. How
about precious metal gems? Like, do you think metal football or basketball would be bought by anybody? No.
Yeah, maybe a couple. We'll buy a case. We'll split a case.
Yeah,
pre-order it. We got this.
We can dream. We don't know, but I mean, Fanatics. I mean, they sell autographed memorabilia and stuff too. So yeah,
right. And I suspect LeBron signs with Fanatics, right? Like not cards, but he has memorabilia, right? You would think. Like basketballs.
No, I think
I don't know how that works with Upper Deck.
Isn't that stuff still under?
Is it still technically Upper Deck?
I think I could be wrong. Yeah.
Let us know below if you know. Let us know below.
Learn it. What's going on, EP?
So what if?
Look on your face.
What if?
Okay, what if I like this? I was going to move on, but we'll go to the what if.
What if?
What if they're making a deal and they're not going to have exclusive licenses and they're going to let Upper Deck and Panini also print from those other sports?
Doesn't feel like a Fanatics.
It doesn't
thing.
feel like their move,
No.
but that would be generational. That would be huge. That would be get a lot of
Yeah,
people
I
excited
get-
about the hobby, but they don't. There's no money in it for them.
Fanatics is
Fanatics
more like
was to own
PSA.
everything.
Yeah, they want to like
Yeah.
The
crush
whole
their
market.
competition.
Yeah. Like they
Oh,
did
well.
with
I can
jerseys,
dream. I can
like
dream.
they did with
I can dream.
hats. Yeah.
Yeah, they're crushing their other competition for sure. That's what they'll do with
Okay.
breaking too. We've talked about that before. I think at the end of the day, they're going to try and crush all the other breakers so that they are the.
And
breaker.
if they want to, they will.
And if they want to, they will.
Who's going to
Absolutely.
stop them?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yep.
Okay, well, we won't spend a whole lot of time on this, but we do like to hit the gem rate grading numbers. So the numbers for February were out. I don't know. I'm going to throw out a prize here. You guys probably won't know, but do either of you have any idea how many cards PSA may have graded in February?
I do because I saw it, but a million.
Yeah, a million.
Yeah,
It's always a million. It's always
This
a
was
million.
a
It's gonna be a
bit,
million.
but thanks for playing along, Joe. Yes, it was a million because they always grade a million.
Well, I heard I could get a prize. I'm going to play along.
You're not getting a prize because you didn't play along. You just went your own route and did it your own way. And you can join in next week to Joe's
Do it
retro
my
trading cards.
way. No, then someone could sue me. I like it under
Joe's
the
going to be
Mike's
in the
banner.
upper left-hand corner next week. I'm going to take the week off. CSG, CGC did 101,000 trading card and non-sports. They didn't have their numbers for the month for sports cards because I guess they're updating their pop reports or doing something to it. SGC did 92K total, up 14%. PSA was like flat, by the way, because again, they do a million every month. Beckett was actually up 10%, doing 63,000. Sports card for PSA 541,000, down 12%. Trading card games, non-sports 466, up 18%. They were running a special on that too. 78K sports cards for SGC and 13K trading card game and non-sports for up 153%. They're special, obviously working.
Yeah.
And Beckett was 33K and 30K. So interesting numbers. One thing it shows are the specials that they're running have an impact on the numbers that they get. So kind of feel like these companies have picked up on this, and that might be the new normal from here on out. They might, if they want to do this or that, they're going to run a special for it. And maybe that's where they're going to fall with the cheaper stuff will always be a special depending on what they want to get more cards for. But it's working for SGC too. That was kind of surprising to me that they went up that much. So people are giving them a chance.
Yeah, the SGC number, it's funny when it was 13K and it's such a small number in comparison, but it's up
in comparison to 466. Yeah.
Well, hell, in comparison to 30K that Beckett had. Beckett is one of those companies though that there are people out there who really like them for the PNG and those type of non-sports cards because they are, with the subgrades, they are quite an easier grade. It's easier to get a Beckett 8 or 9 because of the subgrades than it would be a PSA. I really wish there was a better breakdown of the CGC non-sports numbers. I really want to know what the Marvel number looks like on that one. And then the last thing I'll say is PSA. I'm wondering, do you boys think that they ran that special, but then they also extended the special? Do you think they expected bigger numbers, or do you think that the special was going so well, it's like, oh, let's just keep it rolling?
I think they've done that with every one of their specials lately, right?
Like they have, they have pushed it.
And so it's working for them. They're still doing a million.
Might just kind of be their thing where we're going to announce it, but then extend it. But that might have been the plan all along.
As people panic, submit like, you did, Mike, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, also too, it might be, they might be looking at the number of submissions they're getting. And if like, it's not a steep drop on the curve there, maybe they figure, okay, well, there's business to be had here. We'll keep taking that. That would be my guess too.
Yeah.
Or looking at their data and seeing what they're getting, and it's not dropping. So they're going to keep doing it.
We're looking at the data and seeing that every time they do this, they get a pretty big jump right after the second or third of the month or the fourth of the month, the people who were like, I didn't get it in time. They're like, oh, we're gonna do this. And it's like, oh, okay, great. And then they drop their stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean, it would have gotten me if I didn't panic send mine in at the end of the month.
Right.
I would have been like, yes, okay, I can still. I can
put 10 more cards in there. 20.
I've hit a couple other cards.
Yeah, right,
I have found a couple like Pokemon cards that I was like, oh, I should have sent this in. If I can find 10, maybe I'll do it.
So my buddy, I went to a flea market yesterday, and the buddy I went with, we were walking around, and he came across like this guy who had Pokemon cards out, and they weren't anything huge, but he was like, wait, this sells for like $10. That sells for like, he's like, I have all of these. And they were just raw, ungraded. You could tell they were pretty heavily played. And I said, yeah, Pokemon's kind of a thing. Like, he's in politics. He has zero idea about it. Right. And he goes, well, do you want to look at them and maybe, like consign, like have me handle it and sell them for him? And I said, sure. I said, but PSA actually extended their non-sports, and we can grade some of these if you didn't play with them. We have another, I guess, 3 weeks to send cards in. So I might be sending in a Pokemon PSA submission.
Joe is now a Pokemon consignor.
I am a Pokemon consignor.
Anybody watching, if you have Pokemon cards you need to get graded and sold, send them right there to Joe.
I can sell empty packs. I'll just leave it at that.
This is true.
Pretty funny going from the guy who handed me the book of Pokemon cards to tell him what to do with it. A month later, he's consigning them.
I'm consigning them. I'm selling packs. I'm selling everything. The last thing I'll say about this is SGC 92K up 14%. I really love that the specials they've been running. They did the non-sports special. They did the tops. People giving them a chance, which is great. A lot of their stuff looks so good. It's so accurately graded, and you're getting it back quick. You're getting it back in a week. You can be first to the market with some of this stuff.
Yeah, with the tops especially too, because like you're going to be a month before you can get any of those base cards back from PSA.
Unless you pay out the butt for them,
you're not going to
do it for a base card.
Pay at a level that is not worth doing it. So yeah, there is money to be made for those people that get that early wave of SGC 10s out there, and they're going to sell.
Did you submit, EP?
I have not submitted. I didn't have time this week. I'm going to tomorrow. Like I listen.
You're missing the boat, man.
I know.
The boat is sailing.
At this point, you may not even want to submit.
Behind it,
no, I'm still going to submit. It ends up being like $11 a card, so it's worth sending them in, I think.
All right. Well, I think we probably covered enough this week. You think?
Yeah, it's been a good week.
That 4 hour long. We're actually not that long this week.
About an hour.
Yeah, about normal.
And people love us. People love us talking for hours. That's why they're coming to the live stream.
The 23-hour one?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. By the way, if you want to see a live stream, people, get your friends to subscribe. Not a 23-hour one, but get your friends to subscribe. If you know people in the hobby who haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. Once we get over 500, we're going to do a fun live stream. We're going to probably crack open some packs. We're going to drink some beers. We're going to answer questions. Just come on, let's do it. Let's get over 500. We can get there.
With all the packs I have to open, I'm going to give away some of the packs randomly to people who are there. So that should be fun.
Give away some packs. Maybe we'll give away some slab stands, some Mike's Retro Trading Card slab stands. I mean, we've got some of those. Show one of those off. I mean, they're awesome.
They're pretty great.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. Great. I mean, so
they also double as a phone holder.
They do. I have heard that.
So definitely tell your friends, tell your family, tell the hobby community out there. Subscribe.
Get us to 500.
Get us to 500 so we can drink on a Saturday night.
And we want a beer sponsorship. We just want 500 subs and a beer sponsorship. Thanks to the Rusty Rail.
Oh, Rusty Rail's great too. I do love me a Rusty Rail. They're too big for us. We need something local. All right, guys. That was a good chat, and we'll see you next week.
See you, boys. Adios.